Thanks for coming back to the fifth quarter. More with Memphis Showboats head coach Todd Haley. Coach, talking about the game again, once again, 30-26. Close game. You all came back, lose at the end there, but there were some things that happened during the game extremely positive. But I got to ask you about this trick play, Coach. I mean, you ran a trick play. You showed it to me because I couldn't see it. I was on my way back from L.A., and I was like, that's nice. Talk about the trick play and what made you run it then and where did it come from.
Yeah, us as coaches, we'll steal from anyone. So, a couple of our coaches had found a clip. A college team ran it a few years ago. I thought it was pretty slick. So, we started practicing it 2 weeks ago. Didn't have the opportunity to run it. But usually that's the way it goes with trick plays. It was a direct snap to the back through the quarterback's legs. Those are one of those plays when you talk to the officials before the game, they're like, got any special plays? We're like, yeah, this one. Because what the quarterback can't do, we want it to look like a quarterback sneak, which it did, but he cannot put his hands under center and then snap it to somebody else. So, he came up and just made it look like he was about to put his hands under the center. We snapped it through his legs. Alex made a big play to JJ. And those are fun plays and plays that the fans get excited about. We get excited about. But it was, it had a couple weeks practice, and when you start to feel confident about something like that, it was the right situation at the right time.
But those kind of plays don't always work in practice because the defense has seen it and they make sure that it's unsuccessful. So what made you confident that it would indeed work during the game?
Yeah, the first time we ran it against our defense 2 weeks ago, it worked the first time. And then, they're smart. They pay attention. We're going competitive period down in the tight red, and then they were all over it every single time we called it. So Alex started to panic a little bit. He's like, we're like, if it's not open, if he's not just open, you got to run it. So he put his own little flavor juice on it. When he took the snap, he was a little panicked. He took off to run. That actually helped the play. And then he saw JJ and delivered the baby. So, it's difficult when you have a play that your defense starts to know, and you can easily get down on it if you don't just keep in mind that the other team doesn't know what it is.
Now, that is a great positive, and watching the play, I love, because the execution, and I'm pretty sure the snapper, he has to be nervous as heck, because you got to get that right, man. I don't care how many times you do it.
4th and 1, on the 1, tough situation, but I thought it was well executed.
Now, and it was well executed, but even with the game, Coach, I'm pretty sure, you watched the film. What are some of the things that you did indeed like that what your squad did?
Well, like I said, we lost two of our better inside receivers in Rashard Davis and Vinny Papali pretty, at the halfway point, one earlier, one at about the halfway point or just into the third quarter. And we really only have two guys that play that position. So we did have three tight ends up in the game. John Mitchell, who's only been active one game previous to that, he was told, you got to pay attention to this slot position in case something were to happen. And I thought he came in and did a really good job. He made a couple big plays for us. He's a guy that can really run. He didn't blink. He went out there and made some big plays in critical situations for us. So, that we got our first turnover on defense on the pick in the end zone, keeping them, keeping points off the board to end the half. Like I said, Cole stepping up and really kind of getting his feet under him and doing a lot of really good things, especially down the stretch. I thought in general the fight of the team to stick together, not get down not go in the tank over the fact that you're down a couple scores. I thought they kept fighting. I thought the fans were tremendous. It wasn't a beautiful night, a little rainy and things like that, so I wasn't sure what to expect there, but they were awesome. I thought even though we were the visiting team, it was definitely a Memphis crowd.
Indeed. Now, Coach, I got a handshake. What was going on with you? Because these coaches gonna learn not to mess with you. I don't think it was your fault, but once again, Coach, what can you tell me what was going on with you in the game?
Well, it's something that you don't want to have happen. But when you share a hub like we in Houston do, there are some logistic things to it that. That we don't want them to see us practice. We don't want them to. They don't want to see them practice. And we had a little situation during the week where there were a number of Houston personnel and players that happened to be seeing our practice. So, that was what the handshake was about. I never really got a true apology. So, my emotions came out in the end, and probably, probably not what I should have done, but, you know, I'm an emotional person.
I mean, football is an emotional sport. That's why you're good at football and coaching and playing. You have to be emotional sometimes. But the moral of the story, everybody, is respect the space. Also respect the fifth quarter, because right now it's time for another quick timeout. But when time is back in, me and Coach Haley chop it up